Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Anime Soirée. Today we are talking about Doctor Stone Season 2, episodes 3 through 6. Um, we had our earlier episodes on 1 through 3, and now we're continuing off with that. I think what just happened in the earlier episodes was, or maybe it happens during these three, I can't remember. It's Chrome getting captured. That's like the main plot point that goes over in these episodes. I thought they were pretty good continuation of the story, continuing the good quality. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Chrome's
like these episodes. I like Chrome. I Chrome has some really good moments in these episodes. Like I love how he when he gets captured, Senku and like the gang is like, oh well, it's fine. Like all Chrome needs to do is like not talk. But like, is Chrome likely to not talk? And the answer is definitely no, because like when he like meets up with Tsukasa, he's like, yo guys, like everyone should come and check out our village. It's super cool. We got colored fire and shit. You should come hang out. We got science. It's awesome. And Tsukasa, then he's like, all right, well, um, like no, like I'm gonna, you should either defect to join me or you should die. And Chrome is basically like, oh yeah, like no way am I ever gonna defect. And he fucking stares death right in the face. They're like about to kill him, and then they drop him off the waterfall or whatever. And they don't they the archer guy ends up saving him, but Chrome was like ready to die right there, which I gotta respect that he's a man who's willing to die for his ideals.
yeah, I Chrome is my favorite character. It's no joke. He gets
Yeah,
like some of the best like animations when he does like wacky stuff. Like he'll like turn all white. And I mean they do it for all the characters, but he's like especially goofy, so I feel like he gets even goofier animations. And like when he like faked the guy into thinking he had pneumonia, he just had like this really funny jog away after just like running
yeah,
for his life. And him like entertaining the guards and making him think he was dumb, and then like him like using science was really cool. Like he's just like everything he does is like just pretty entertaining, and definitely my probably favorite couple episodes I've seen of Dr. Stone in a while. That's saying a lot because I like the show. So yeah, more Chrome in
Yeah, I
2021.
think the best part about these episodes, I mean, I wouldn't say Chrome's my favorite character, but he's definitely up there. And I think the best part about these episodes is being able to see him use the science that he's learned throughout the first season and beginning of the second season, because like he always describes himself as a science man and like as basically Senku's right hand man and stuff like that. But this is like one of the first times that we get to see him really do things on his own and really learn from those situations. And we see that in how he escapes from the jail in episode 6, which is super cool. And he even like fails one time, but yeah, it's pretty cool seeing him learn from that. And then we're also left with the cliffhanger of like who gave him the battery. And like I don't think it's the two people that he thinks that gave him the battery. I think it's probably somebody else. I think it might be the Archer guy because he lied for him. I think it was the Archer guy that lied for him. Somebody lied for him in Tsukasa's camp. Um, so yeah, that cliffhanger's a good plot point that they left us with for kind of kind of slowly burning like who in Tsukasa's camp isn't like really all the way on board. And like I said, I don't think it's Taiju and Yuzuriha or Yuzuriha. I think that's like too obvious, kind of a red herring almost.
yeah. I really like how this arc, like even though it's like Stone Wars, but there's not actually a lot of fighting because a lot of it is done through like kind of like information warfare, like it's like who they're like talking to within like Sukasa's side, and like how they're able to like convince them to join the Kingdom of Science. And it's not like super like tactical or like military in depth, but it's just like I like how these characters are like committed to having like a bloodless revolution and like a conflict where no like a resolution of the conflict, and no one's gonna die. And I like how dedicated they are to that. And like yeah, like kind of seeing them like kind of convince people and make arguments for the Kingdom of Science is pretty entertaining, and it's like what I like about the show on like a thematic level.
Yeah, speaking of convincing people, they had a couple new characters, I guess, in these last two episodes. They had
Mhm.
the big blonde-haired woman who was very buff, and she was like a huge Lillian fan, and I thought that was
Uh-huh.
actually a really funny scene when they're trying to convince somebody in Tusaka's camp to believe that Lillian is here to tell them to come to America or whatever their plan is. I don't think they thought that far ahead, but and she's like a Lillian super fan, and they basically have like a almost like game show where she just asks them
Yes.
questions and like Senku's thought process when he was figuring out the how many records she must have sold. That was like a really cool animation. Where he had like it was like that meme when the with that woman with like all the like trigonometry and like math like around her. It was like that
Yeah.
moment in a scene for
No,
sure.
I really like that moment because it's like, it's like with it's like this concept where if you like don't know like something, if you don't know like some number or whatever, but you can like estimate a bunch of different things that like would make up what that figure is, then like you by like the more different like estimations you make and like by like multiplying them together or whatever, like the more likely you are to like converge to the actual number. So it's like an actual thing, whereas like Senku is like he's making a bunch of guesses, but because he's making so many guesses and he like understands like how it all like fits together, he's able to like basically bullshit something that's close to the right answer.
And then
I like I thought it was when I was reading this at first, I was like, um, I kind of thought it was bullshit that like the first person that they try to convince with this whole Lillian plan was like a Lillian super fan. But I do kind of like how it's like she basically knows more about Lillian than they do, so it's almost presented as like a blessing and a curse, right? Because like she like basically is able to immediately figure out that the person on the other end of the phone is not Lillian, but just basically because they have access to like the only record, and she basically says, oh well, like we should this music means so much to me that like I'm willing to switch sides to like protect it and stuff like that, that she does eventually come to their side. But I like how it's not just like she's the super fan, so therefore she's like automatically on board. There's like a little bit of a conflict. um so yeah,
and
that was good.
I just wanted to point out one last thing about the scene was just like him like guessing like her bust and like waist size. It's like pretty
And
funny.
that's what is able to like that's what she finally realizes, that it's not legit, because she was like, it's not even that she knows the right measurements, it's that she's like, Lillian would never reveal that information about herself. I thought that was
It looked like I don't know if you ever saw Animal Planet where they had like those wireframe humans where they had like the wireframe Lillian with like her tits and everything.
yeah.
That shit was funny. Good animation there.
Yeah.
Let's see. I guess they also had the police officer, like the the guy with the history of like police brutality,
Yeah.
running to Sokka. It's like okay, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, we're introduced to
And
Yo, and he's like a pretty cool character. I thought he was like a lot of comic relief, but also like he seemed pretty dangerous to um to like that whole situation with Chrome, and just it didn't like it seemed like he was there for comic relief, but like at the same time it didn't seem like okay, Chrome's safe because this guy is comic relief. But I mean it did end up being a point of comic that or point of comedy when Chrome escaped with like the fake pneumonia stuff. But I thought he was a pretty cool, pretty interesting new character. Just I don't know, he's got like the police training, and like he's been fired from the police academy, so like obviously he's not super on board with like the whole order stuff. But yeah, cool character.
yeah, we've seen characters like that before. Somebody who's just like, I'm gonna make it to the top of I guess the world. I guess pretty small world, and then they just come in and just immediately fail. I always love characters like that because I know what's gonna happen is predictable, but usually the downfall is pretty funny. And in this case, it was because Chrome really outsmarted him. And
Yeah, I think it's good to have like a goofy character for Chrome to play off of, because Chrome himself is pretty, just with how gung ho he is about literally everything. I think it makes sense for him to play off like someone who's similarly zany.
I guess we finally got to see a bit of Tusaka's camp because I remember last episode we were talking about that. And like the
Mm-hmm.
first image they show us is like them eating, working out, and like there's a couple girls and they're all buff as fuck. And I'm like, yeah, this is exactly what I thought was going on at the camp.
Yeah,
And they're all pretty clueless though.
I thought the design for all of his henchmen is just like so funny. They're all just like these ginormous bald people, and it's just
Yeah,
I don't know, it's just
they do
hilarious.
look. They basically look like cavemen.
Yeah,
Like,
they're all unga bunga me buff. Oh
yeah,
no. Yeah.
Uh,
yeah. We also kind of get some like moments for Tsukasa with like how he's interacting with Chrome. Like, I thought it was interesting how like he didn't. I mean, he wasn't the one who like ended up saving Chrome, but like he didn't insist on Chrome dying, right? Like he it's almost like he didn't want to. I mean, at first he tries to convince him to like join like his camp and his side, which I thought was kind of interesting that like he doesn't present it. He's like, Chrome, look, like I don't hate science. Like we use tools, we like use fire and stuff. Like we're not like forgetting everything that's come before us, but we're also kind of like, we don't want rapid acceleration, we don't want like huge scale war, we don't like atomic bombs, like that kind of shit that like comes with scientific advancement. And obviously like Chrome doesn't agree with that, so he says like, no, I'm not going to join you. But I thought it was interesting that like Tsukasa does, he still keeps him alive after that. And he doesn't like, he doesn't like torture him or anything, because I mean that would be a good idea to like get Senku's whereabouts and stuff like that. But I don't know. It almost kind of makes it seem like Tsukasa is not as he's a little bit he's not a coward, but he's never actually killed anyone who wasn't a statue. Like we haven't seen him like kill anyone who wasn't a statue. So I don't know. Maybe he's just like he doesn't have the balls to like really go through with it.
has
Yeah.
He's almost like
anybody
provided background
died?
for this part.
Has anybody died at all in this show? Like in the stone world, like been killed by another human being that's alive? I
Not
don't think so.
the only people. I mean, are statues. Yeah.
Wait, like none of the
Wow.
henchmen die when they attack the village or anything?
I don't think so.
Hmm, interesting.
I think that they have a retreat after after like the bridge thing,
Yeah.
the bridge battle. They
I liked
retreat,
I also
and the
liked
only one
that
who stays
with
is Homeland.
uh Sukasa these 4 episodes, like his stuff with Chrome, but I thought his train of logic for the pit traps in front of Chrome's cell was a bit interesting. He was like, well, if they're not doing this, then they must be using a full-on assault with an armored car, and it's like, oh yes, a very logical thing to jump to after that. Like, I feel like he never like I think he's mentioned guns a couple times, but he never like mentioned like I feel like a gun is probably easier to make than a car. So like jumping to like a conclusion like they must be planning to ram this cage with a car or something like that. It's like
I don't think they said car. I think they just said like use like some weapon of science. Maybe I'm
no,
misremembering.
they
But
definitely said like a vehicle at least.
did they say a
Yeah,
vehicle?
I 100% remember that. It
Okay.
was that's I mean that's why I made a note of it in my head. Like it seems very uh a very big jump of the logic, but I mean I guess I don't know. It just seemed like it was there to move the just like I don't know to add more stress around Chrome's situation because like they had the perfect trap to counter the car. So um
Um, I guess. Yeah. I mean, I guess there's some issues there for sure. But I like the other or the last new character they added. I don't remember his name, but the Arrow Kid.
I
Uh,
think his name is
Ukyo?
Ukio.
Yeah.
Ukio. Just like they
Yeah.
were like, oh, the three strongest people are, Tusaka, this other rip dude, and then Ukio, and he's just like literally like looks like a kid. And I
Yeah.
guess he had a history in being a like sonar technician on a submarine. I'm like, okay, that's pretty
So he has
specific.
super hearing. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's how
everybody
it
who's a
works, Kyle.
sonar technician is
Yeah.
a super hearing. And I don't know. It seemed like how would you know that? Like if you were to, I guess maybe like okay, so like Sokka like only like takes buff dudes out of the stone world, and you see this small frail child. Like how would you know to? How would you know he had super hearing? I don't know
True.
because he
um
wouldn't take out a kid.
Yeah, it's not like he
well,
was
I mean,
it's not like he was like a gym like Momura was a gymnast beforehand, so like she was probably relatively famous, and she was probably like when she was probably frozen in the gym, like or something like that. So like you know like this person is athletic or they have certain capabilities or something. And if we're imagining Ukyo as like a sonar technician, like he was probably I mean he's in the Navy, he was on land or something, so like nothing would tell you like this person's not buff, this person's not in some crazy situation where like they might have some crazy powers or something. So yeah, I agree with that. It's like why would Ukyo get unfrozen here?
Well, maybe he went to a submarine base or something, and he was like, "I want someone with super hearing." So, sonar technician is the obvious choice.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
don't know. I don't know if Tusaka could find a submarine base, maybe. But
Yeah, I mean, the I don't even know if like the building would still be there because it's been so long. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe he was like a super famous sonar technician because he's like a prodigy because he's like super young or something, and he like made a newspaper headline,
Yeah,
and
maybe
like
I can
Tsukasa
see him
remembered.
like
it's
being like
possible.
famous for his hearing
Considering that like
beforehand.
everyone that Tsukasa revives basically has some sort of superpower, it wouldn't be surprising if they like had they were relatively famous in the world before, you know, just because of his super hearing or whatever. You know, because he could be like I could definitely see him being like, oh wow, this guy like he looks like a kid, so maybe it was like, oh, this is the youngest ever sonar technician because he has so much such good hearing or something.
Yeah. And also I mean they make a point to mention like Yo like won like a competition for how to use the baton for the in the when he was in the police academy or whatever. So like that like explains his famousness, and then you have Murmura as a gymnast. So maybe we'll get some backstory on Ukyo, but like I don't know. That's the one I had to suspend my disbelief for the most because like yeah, just
I'm
seems
glad
weird.
that there's a character like that in Tusaka's camp, though, that like helped out Chrome.
Yeah, it's not
Like
just ripped.
is clearly, well, I mean, not just because he's not ripped, but because he's like he's obviously kind of playing both sides, so he always comes out on top. It's an Always Sunny in Philadelphia reference for you,
Nice.
if you if
He's
you
kind
want.
of like how Gen was at the beginning, where he was like you know, at first he was not sure which side to join. He was kind of playing both sides.
Honestly, Gen's like one of my more favorite characters this season. He's come into his own quite a good amount. I like him a lot.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
his like plans and shit.
And his feminine voice.
Yeah.
I liked the science behind the engine because like the way they explain it, I'm like, wow, that like makes a lot of sense. Like that's a pretty simple engine design, and you know, it's pretty smart to decide to make that because it didn't take them very long. All
Yeah.
they had to do was like make casts and then get the metal and put it into the
Yeah.
cast, and you know, that's it to make the frame.
But did they say
I
what their
liked
fuel
seeing them make
was?
the casts and stuff. That was cool.
Did they say what their fuel was? Was it just air?
Well,
I think it's
it's fire, coal, right?
Just coal? Okay.
yeah, probably coal.
Okay.
I assume it's coal just because
That's how steam engines used to
you know,
work. So
Chrome had the rock collection,
yeah,
so I just assumed that like he had coal or something.
yeah. I was just
That's
curious. I
sort
didn't
of like
remember.
Chrome's rock collection. I feel like is it often accelerates a lot of inventions that would not otherwise be possible.
Yeah.
It's a good little plot device, but like I like it because it's also like, you know, when it was introduced, it was like it you immediately know what Chrome's deal is. So it's like it's not just a plot element; it's also like characterization for Chrome. It
Yeah.
made me like Chrome because he's just so into science that he's like, oh, dude, I like did experiments on these rocks and stuff. Like, yeah, that's what I like about Chrome.
What
I
I
kind
want
of
to know.
go
Oh,
ahead.
I want to know is on the second version of the car when they after they put the armor on it, why didn't they use the tires again? They just got rid of the
Yeah,
tires. I was like, what the
yeah, I
fuck?
saw
Those are
that.
cool.
Those wood tires.
The airless tires. Come on,
Um,
dude.
yeah,
You're
Also,
totally right.
yeah. Also, I think Gen had like a throwaway line like, "Why don't we just take this car over to the Miracle Cave or whatever?" And Senku was like, "That's ridiculous. Why would you say that?" And then now that Chrome's back, like that's got to be where they're taking it next, right?
Hmm. That's a good question.
I mean, what else
Uh,
would they use it for? I guess an attack on them, but I don't know.
to get the nitric acid, right?
Yeah, they want to control that cave so they can unfreeze people.
yeah.
Yeah, they're really lacking in manpower. I feel like they have like what? Oh, dude, okay, okay. This part was weird. Like when they showed the whole village together, And I was like, okay, yeah, like, is everybody in the village? And then there was just like an entire drove of elderly people that were all like 2 feet tall. I was like, holy shit, these people are ridiculously small because
Yeah.
Senku is short and they're like up to his belly button. So they must be like 2 feet max.
I mean,
And
Kaseki's not too tall, and he's like pretty old. The blacksmith guy.
yeah, at least
People
he's like,
shrink.
Yeah.
dude, but they're like minuscule.
It's exaggerated.
For sure. I just thought it
Yeah.
was really creepy and like kind of jarring. I was like, these are some small ass people.
My first reaction was, where the fuck did these people come from? Like, obviously
Yeah.
we don't see the village a lot, but like I feel like we've seen it enough. Like, where the hell did these people come from?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
I mean, it wasn't
There
like
was
something
one
I actually
page
cared
in the
about.
there was one page in the manga where they like actually like when it's near when the village is first introduced, they literally show like they name everyone in the village. So I don't know, maybe they just like the people weren't I can't remember if they like because it was a while ago when I read the manga. So I don't remember if they like the anime added people or if it's just that like previously they hadn't done a good job of like showing everyone in the village. But yeah, I like how there's actually just like a name for straight up everyone in the village
Yeah,
in the
it's
manga.
not something I lost sleep over or anything. It was just something funny I noticed.
Yeah. And
What'd you
they're
guys
all
think?
named after some sort of like rock or like metal or something,
Yeah.
which is cool.
What'd you guys think of just like the car build in general? I thought it was pretty cool. I guess we already mentioned the engine part. It's pretty cool.
yeah, no, that's like I said, I thought it was sick because like I thought the engine design was like pretty simple and just thought it was a smart use of resources.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense as like a you know as like a part of a war effort that you would need like this for like attacks and for like supply lines and stuff like that. So like I'm glad that it was included for this part. It's like a natural. It was a natural invention.
Also, it,
I
it
thought.
makes sense. What I like a lot about the inventions that they choose is like they are very progressing on previous inventions that they had. Like it's not like
Uh-huh.
something out of the blue where they have to make everything from scratch. It's usually something that they've already got some components for, and the car had, I think, parts of the engine that were already in use somewhere, and they like repurposed them for the car, which is cool. And it makes sense like why you would choose that over something else that you would have to make from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's cool that they always do that for the inventions.
Yeah,
Dude,
and it's like it's cool because that's like how, that's how like inventions worked when they were like invented the first time.
Yeah,
It was like people didn't just wake up one day and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna invent the steam engine today." It was like
yeah.
a natural progression of previous advancements, which is, exactly what's happening here.
yeah, I like how they kind of show like more, I guess, more scenarios with science that have like constraints, and then they also have like with Chrome in the cave, like he had like a handful of resources, and he was able to do something. And
Mm-hmm.
I like it's kind of more like survivally almost. I think that's cool. And then with Senku, we got to see like more of like if you were to actually develop like a car with as many resources as you could, and what you guys were just talking about, like, hey, this is like the alpha and the beta. Okay, this is as close to the final product as we're gonna get. And I like that. I think it's cool because it's like one of the
Yeah,
best parts about the show. So it's like explore it in as many ways as you can. So pretty cool.
yeah, exactly. And
Uh,
that's why I really like Chrome, like kind of providing. I mean, we didn't really get that much of it this time because he was doing more like plot stuff and like, which was great. But like, I like it when Chrome kind of is forced to like think on his own without Senku to like in to make a new invention. Like how he basically independently invented like the water wheel, and Senku was like, "Damn, that's like a legit invention where like from the past," and Chrome just like came up with it on his own. And I like that idea that like if Senku were to die, like there are still people like Chrome out there that would like be able to rebuild society and rebuild technology just because they're just so dedicated about it. And
but
yeah.
they also make a point that like Chrome is the weirdo, so like obviously it would take a bit longer because there are going to be people that like
Oh yeah, I mean
oppose those
it would take
changes.
just as long as it did to like go from the Stone Age to now. Like it
Yeah,
would be like, taking it would be like a hard reset, but it would still happen eventually, which is like, you know, and that's what I like about the show is that it doesn't like it never presents it as being easy. Like science is not easy in Doctor Stone. It's the product of like of a lot of just like backbreaking work and like repetition and just like trial and error, and it's not easy, but it's rewarding because it gets results, which is
Yeah.
what I like about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like how they make the point too. They've done this a couple times where they just like reuse stuff they've already made. When they're just like taking away Magma's like furnace, so we gotta use this for the car.
Yeah.
Sorry, gonna take it
Yeah.
away. And I think that just drives home that point even more, and makes sense because it's probably a lot of effort for them to actually make more metal or more of any resource really. So
Hmm.
Yeah. One small thing that uh, kind of bothered me was when they upgraded the car from the like more boat-looking car to the armored car. Um, the original engine had like a single smokestack or something, and the armored car version had two smokestacks. So I don't know if they like. I don't think they'll ever explain this. If they just like decided to make another engine in that time that they also chose to armor it, or if that's like the like a different kind of engine or something. Like it's kind of bothered me because like usually that's something they would show instead of just having, oh yep, now there's two exhaust pipes on this car. I don't know. It seemed like an integral part of the engine. So if there's two of them, then in my head I was like, do they have two engines in that car now? Because like they mentioned it's gonna be heavier and they'll need more power. I don't know. It's just something that they usually include something like that or not. Like even just a throwaway line. Um, I don't know. It kind of bothered me because like I said, it's something they usually show.
yeah, I didn't really think too much of that, but that's a good point. But I'm okay with them skipping like some of the details, just for the sake of like feel like there's a lot of setup involved. Well, we're still in the setup really for this final encounter between their encampment and Tusaka's encampment. So I'm okay if they skip a couple science details here and there because
Yeah.
we've setting this up for 30 episodes now. So
I mean, I'd be more okay if it wasn't just like a straight up full engine. Like they mention how long like the engine takes to build and like how complicated of a system it is. So I don't know, like the entire time it's like something that takes a lot of time to build. So them just like throwing in another one just in the span of a couple scenes is.
I don't think it takes that long to build, especially now that they have the casts,
I
because
mean, if
it's
they're already
all.
there at the camp trying to save Chrome, like it's a pretty time sensitive issue. I feel like they wouldn't have time to just build another engine.
Yeah, I'm not gonna act like I know what goes into developing a steam engine, but maybe
I don't know. It's something small. Like I said, it's a small thing that bothered me just a bit.
it's fair. Let's see. Oh, I really like that scene with Yo, where he was like daydreaming. Well, he was just like, I want to like rule Tusaka's encampment, and he was like just daydreaming about like that busty chick that he met next to Tusaka, and he's just like literally is just like squeezing his thighs together and like kissing the air in front of a bunch of buff dudes. That was some pretty good comic relief. He's a pretty goofy guy.
Yeah. He's he's got a goal, but he's not single-minded on that goal, clearly. He's got room in there for distractions.
Yeah, that's for sure. He's probably. Oh God, he's so funny. Actually, I can't wait to see more of him.
Yeah.
Mm.
Um, Talking about characters we want to see more of. I mean, I guess they got their spotlight in the earlier episodes when they were hunting Hamura. But like Ginro, and like the two sisters, Rory and
Kohaku.
Kohaku. I feel like I mean, these were like Chrome episodes, like basically focused on Chrome, but I feel like they didn't get too much to do these episodes. They were kind of just sitting around, and there'd be like the occasional joke, like Kohaku, you're a lioness, or Kohaku, you're a gorilla, or something, and she'd beat their ass or something. But definitely missed their presence in these episodes.
Yeah. I you know, as the as it shifts more towards like actual combat, I feel like we'll get more of those because they're more like fighters rather
Yeah,
than,
that's definitely their strength for sure.
yeah, sciencers like Chrome.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of like a downside of this show. Not a big one, but I feel like a lot of the characters are pretty specialized, and there's so many of them that as tasks shifts, you just like kind of ignore a large portion of the cast and effort to showcase a character who actually is relevant to what's going on.
I kind of feel like that's more a like a function of the fact that we are not considering the entire like not that we're watching it as it's airing, as opposed to just like watching it all in a bunch.
Yeah.
Because it's like you notice it more like if you watch one episode every week, you notice it more if your favorite character wasn't in that episode. Whereas like if you're binging it and you watch it like and you're watching like, you know, 5 episodes in one sitting, it doesn't matter as much if your favorite character isn't in one episode, because then you turn on the next one and they're there.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's kind of, you know, it's like a blessing and a curse. Like when we like discuss, like that's why I think that I mean, we're doing a good job in not discussing just every episode. Where we're kind of like breaking it into chunks, you know, because it's like, you know, we kind of mitigate that problem a little bit, and we still get to speculate on like what's coming and like talk about it on like a more fine grained level. But like, yeah, I don't know, like it's just like a good thing and a bad thing that we're talking about it as it's coming out, because it's like we don't have the whole package, but we can also kind of like discuss more on the episode level rather than just like on the show level. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Anime Soirée. Analysis of our analyses. I mean, we're pretty close to 30. Was there anything else you guys want to talk about? I feel like we're still setting stuff up. There was some pretty cool developments though in these last 4 episodes. I'm definitely more of a fan of this chunk as opposed to the first two. I think we only talked about the first
Yeah,
two.
I think it's just because we only talked about two. It just wasn't as not a good amount. Now there's like a lot happening and like the ball's really rolling.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I have to say though, like overall, like I like this part more than like the end of season one. I kind of feel like the end of season one, there was like a lot of just like hanging out in the village. And now I like that we're like going to different places. There's like more new characters being introduced, and we still have like the science stuff in service of that. So yeah, I like this chunk more than I like the village chunk. So yeah, I'm liking the season a lot so far. And I also think that like we're getting some like you know, obviously it's not all the time, but there are like some really good animation moments too. Like not as much in these episodes, but like in the first couple episodes with like Homura, like she had some like really cool gymnastics and stuff like that she was doing. So yeah, I mean, I'm really liking the season. I think it's a great adaptation of this part.
I haven't
Uh,
read the manga, but I like the anime, so I'll agree with part of that.
do you guys have any thoughts on the OP or the ending song? I like them so far. I don't know if I like them more than the season one ones, but good so
OP's
far.
fine.
Yeah.
Ending song's kind of cool. It's kind of got like a hip hop kind of vibe, which I
Yeah.
dig.
Yeah,
Doesn't the opening
I
kind
think
of
I
have
like
one too?
the I don't remember if it was the first one or the second one from the first season that I really liked, but there was one that I thought was fucking awesome, and it's not quite on that level, but I still like this one.
Yeah.
One of these days, we'll do a specific OP analysis of every OP we can think of.
That would
From
be kind of fun to just do an. I don't know that we might not have a lot to talk about if we just do an OP episode, but
We just make a
I mean,
yeah,
bracket.
stuff
Make
you
a
could break
bracket and do
down.
it matchup by matchup. That'd be
we could, yeah. Oh, a bracket would be kind of fun. Yeah, that
yeah.
would be fun because it would, yeah,
I
that'd be
already
fun.
know my winner, but it's yeah.
Yeah,
I
we
think I
could.
know my winner too, but
I think
yeah,
I think I also know my winner too, but it depends on like because obviously we can only put so many anime in there, so maybe there
yeah,
should be kind of like constraints. Uh, we'll talk about
We'd
it.
have to figure out one seeds and stuff like that. But yeah, it'd be interesting. Definitely an interesting idea.
yeah.
All
Stay
right.
Anyway,
tuned for that episode, maybe.
Stay tuned for yeah, maybe.
all right.
Let
So
us know if you want to see that episode, and we'll take note of
okay. I guess that's it for Doctor Stone season 2, episodes 3 through 6. Follow us on YouTube, on Twitch, on Spotify, and on Twitter. It should be Anime Soiree for all of them except for Twitch. Official Twitch coming out one day pretty soon, and maybe some possible exciting news coming down the pipeline. Anything else, guys?
Nope.
it. Nope, I think that's it. Good Chrome stuff. This part, I was a fan.
All right.
Alrighty then.
Catch you later.
We're signing off.